People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, and I hope you're all well and safe wherever you are, whoever you are, and whatever you're doing. Before I start, I'd like to say RIP to Kobe Bryant and sadly his 13-year-old daughter, who I'm sure you've seen overnight, have lost their life in a helicopter. Now, I'm not the biggest basketball fan, I won't pretend to be, but Kobe Bryant was one of them players or sportsmen that transcend sport, that go beyond sport. Not putting people above anyone or anything, but you have Kobe, you have Muhammad Ali, you've got players of this ilk. And I wasn't the biggest fan of basketball, but I knew who Kobe Bryant was. And I grew up in a gen where whether you cared about basketball or not, even when you used to throw things into the bin or anything, you'd shout Kobe and stuff like that. So the influence is crazy, and it touched me, man. Obviously, 13-year-old daughter who was a promising basketball player in her own right. Forget basketball, just 13 years of age. He's leaving behind, through no fault of his own, obviously, a wife that he's been with since 17 years of age. I feel so sorry for his wife. There's not a word I can say that can really put into words how it must feel to not only lose your childhood sweetheart, but lose a 13-year-old daughter. Obviously, she's got other daughters, and it's also important to remember, I don't know everybody who was on the flight, but there was also his daughter, himself, I'm sure a captain and people, other people. Either way, somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's wife, someone's something. And it sounds cliche, but you have to take every day. You can't take any days for granted, and you really have to make peace with your loved ones and all these things, man, because you never know when it's going to end. And it sucks, people, man. So sending my prayers and strength to their families, and on behalf of you lot, I know you lot are doing the same. So sad thing, but let's move on. Now, Pablo Marine. Now, to be honest, I've never seen him play beyond the club championships, but I mean, to have a name like Pablo, you got to be on something, man. Like, for me, I'm actually, I wouldn't say excited, but I'm not pessimistic on his signing, because again, he could turn out to be a dud, which I don't think it's going to be. But for him, my expectations on defenders at this club is at an all-time low, so he can't do much worse. For me, I think, obviously, many people will say it's not Upamecano, it's not these top caliber players and all of these things, that these headline signings, you know, the Sky Sports yellow bar, 50 million bid, he's come to the club. It sounds like a statement of intent from Arsenal and all of these things. I hear that, I get that, I agree somewhat with that, but by the same token, yeah, I don't care if someone's bought for 2.5 million or 200 million. First and foremost, I care about competencies. He says he's a defender. He is a centre-half. I see a 26-year-old centre-half. Obviously, we give people time and whatnot, but I'm expecting him to come and shake tables, put pressure on first-team spots with these already existing centre-halves. Just be competent. He's a defender. Be competent. Can he defend? If he can defend, then I don't care how much he's bought for. Is he consistent? Something that's been evading us. Is he confident? Because under Arteta, we're turning a new leaf. But it doesn't matter if it's midfielders scared to play a pass, people scared to dribble, people scared in possession. We need to be brave, especially when things don't go our way as a top 6 club. Or right now, we might not finish in the top 6. But there's that. And I also think, yeah, he might not be a glamorous name and all of these things, but that could give him a different hunger. It's completely different. But you look at them Sheffield United lads, yeah? Go and look at their careers. Some of them have been journeymen. Some of them have had to fight to be professional footballers. People like John Fleck, no disrespect because he's been decent, labelled as a wonder kid. It hasn't quite happened. So they've got that positive chip on their shoulders because the world has told them they're not good footballers or they shouldn't be playing at this level. And you see how committed them Sheffield man are. Obviously, we're different. It's completely different. But I'm hoping Marie's thing is like that as well, because he played for Manchester City. He never got an appearance there. In Europe, he hasn't really got too much of a career of sorts. He's really a second division journeyman. He's been at a couple of clubs, not really asserted himself. He's been on loan in Holland. He didn't officially play for Manchester City in any capacity. In fact, if I look at it for you guys quickly, people, for Depot in Europe, for gymnastic, he made 96 appearances. For Mallorca's first team, he made 1. For Mallorca B, he made 6. For Genoa, he made 9 appearances. For Flamengo, which I called them Flamingo by accident, he's made 30 appearances. For NSC Brena in Holland during his loan spell, 32 apps. For Deportivo, 38, in case I never said that. In La Liga's top division, he's played once. In the Eredivisie, he's played 31 times. In the Brazilian top division, he's played 22 times. While the second division in Spain is his strongest, and he's played 70 times. So he hasn't got that much. He hasn't had that much of a career, of a significant career in Europe. I mean, being in Brazil was already eclipsed what he's done already. So he's not really had a chance to play. He's had to kind of fight. I'm hoping that because of this, because he hasn't been pampered or been given anything early, he's going to grab things with both hands, the Spaniard. Because I mean, how many players do you, well, I know Merida went to Brazil, but go from Spain to Brazil, especially playing in the second division, and have a stop off in Holland? Obviously, I'm hoping that he comes here, he fights, he relishes that sort of thing. Because again, we're not a top 6 team, but he must have been forgiven for assuming that playing for Arsenal or playing in Brazil for the team was beyond him. So now he doesn't want it to stop. And his own words were, in relation to this, I had joined, some interesting comments. I had joined the City group and I would leave wherever it was convenient for the board. I would have liked to play for City, but the centrals there are top level. And he actually, I haven't got it, but he said he knew he wasn't going to play for City. He's more or less joining the monopoly. He's made 32 appearances in Europe's top flight, 31 of them in the Eredivisie. Obviously played for Mallorca. He said, by his own admission, before going to Flamengo, his career appeared to be destined for the second tier of European football. He said, coming to Flamengo changed my life. Pardon me. Being able to play in the Libertadores and make history is very big. I wouldn't be able to fight for something like that with the other options I had. I'm totally happy with my decision to come here. George Jesus changed my life in 3 months. He saw qualities in me that no one had seen before and even improved them. He extracted things from me that I didn't know he had. My best vision multiplied by 10. He changed the way I see football, the way I play, and now I see the game in a different light. So these sort of things, having a life now. He didn't even think he was going to be able to win significant trophies in South America or in his career. So this should give him the hunger to kind of hit the ground running at Arsenal. For me, I just hope he's a competent option. Obviously, I keep mixing up if he's Spanish or Brazilian. But obviously, he's lived in Brazil. He probably gets the Brazilian way of doing things. Not too sure on his level of Portuguese, but you can already entice yourselves at the idea of him and David Luiz as a partnership. Obviously, he's a Spanish speaker, so he'll be able to communicate with Bellerin. On the left-hand side, it's not really relevant, but he speaks Portuguese, so he might be able to say little things to Martinelli. Again, kind of reaching a bit, but Arteta's Spanish. Obviously, Aubameyang can speak Spanish. We've got a number of Spanish staff and all these things in our club. So everything's set up for him to do well, people. Yeah, man, I think he'll do alright, because I've seen, like I said, man, I'm not saying he's gonna be a world beater and things. I've just got blind hope that he'll be alright. If he's not, we'll sit here and talk about him. But I think while he might not be what many people would have expected from Arsenal to sign had we needed a centre half, he deserves a chance, really and truly, people. Like, he deserves a chance to show what he can do. Obviously, if it goes wrong, people will say you get what you pay for, with penny pinching and blah 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 again. And we'll never know who truly is behind this, in my opinion, because obviously he's playing in Brazil. There's Edu. You're hearing Raul Sanye's got good contacts in relation to this guy's agent, even with the Ukrainian lad. Apparently Arteta knows him from his City time. Did Arteta the one that suggested? Edu was like, I know about him. Then Raul Sanye called his contacts. Was it a three-way sort of move? I don't know, people. Only they do. In relation, away from that, quickly on Thomas Lemar, I know you've all seen the rumours that he might be coming to us, and again, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have thought about it. Could it be that if we tie up a loan deal or some move in some capacity for Thomas Lemar, it is happening, once we confirm that or that gets agreed, does that mean Ceballos is free to go to Valencia because he doesn't want to be here? You're hearing that Real Madrid don't want to ruin the relationship with us, and he agreed to go to Arsenal, so he has to fight. You don't want players that don't want to be here. Yes, in terms of a body, we need him, but if he's even got the slightest concerns about being for the cause, then with Arteta coming into the club, we just need man that want to be here. So if we could potentially bring someone in, if not Thomas Lemar, who didn't play in the last Atletico Madrid league game, then we might see something in relation to that. I don't think Lamar's coming for what it's worth, but I thought I would mention that. And on that note as well, allegedly he was left out because he had an injury, people, so we'll never know the truth in that regard. It is what it is. Atletico are not having the greatest of times and actually trying to bring in Cavani, so we have until Friday to finish any business. I'm hoping we bring in a midfielder, people, central midfield. Can it be done? Who knows? But on that note, people, Deluded, I'm out. Thank you for watching and rocking as usual.